Hey boys and girls out there on the interweb world, welcome to Deadly Dallas's first movie review. I'm Dr. Skotch. I'm here with Wes and Sid, and we're going to be talking tonight to you about the Evil Dead remake. Wes, we're going to kick things off with you. Tell us your initial reactions of the film.
What I really liked about the movie was, honestly, the homages to the original. I'm a big fan of the original. I love the fact that they had the Oldsmobile 88 in there. That was all that got my, shit hard. Also the cabin. I love the fact they kept the cabin as close to the original as possible.
Yeah. Which the original burned down.
Yeah, which the original burnt down. And they kept up the gore. They kept up that as cheesy and campy as it was in the original. They kept it just as campy, but much more intense. I really liked it.
Let's say the gore went a lot further.
It's the gore. They totally upped it on the gore, which is what I really dug about it. As far as the majority of the movie. But I have to say I was really disappointed with the ending, honestly. I didn't like the fact that they made the all-evil being that it were, supposedly this small, weird-looking female ring-looking character.
The stereotypical J-horror,
Exactly. That was stronger than shit, but apparently can get defeated by a little girl in a chainsaw.
Exactly.
So I wasn't really impressed by that, but overall, I really did like the playing it back to the originals.
Yeah. Sid, you want to weigh in on that?
My only complaint really is the magic user, the sorcerer that wanders into the fucking house. He has no knowledge prior when he wanders into the cabin, and suddenly can translate ancient Sumerian and can read a spell. Granted, I know there's cliff notes in the Necronomicon. Nonetheless, he reads an ancient spell, raises the evil.
But was necessary for them to have the movie? You had to have.
No, you had to have someone to do so, but I wish they would have done it a different way. It annoyed the hell out of me. With that said, I love the gore. The gore was spectacular. I know we all complained about the villain. You'll see that soon. We all complain about the final antagonist, but the gore in that, spoiler, just saying, the gore in that final scene when he throws the chainsaw into her face was spectacular. The gore of that whole movie was amazing. I know I had seen the tongue-cutting scene in the trailers. I know I'd seen quite a few gore scenes in the trailers, but I still loved it when I saw it on the
shotgun scene.
God. The nail gun scene. There's so many scenes we could talk about.
Eric, the long-haired hipster.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No. Eric is the hippie.
The hippie sorcerer that reads the book.
Yes.
He took a fucking beating. That was so awesome.
That poor bastard would never die.
The character became this guy that I just loved because of the fact that
he's still alive.
Shit kicked at him and still come back and laugh about it.
And when he finally does die, he's just laid into a lake of hate. I'm just gonna let you go. We're done with you.
I can't bury you. I gotta bury my fucking sister and then bring her back to fucking life.
Too busy for that, but yeah, I'm just gonna dump you in.
Other than the magic thing, and of course, and I'm sure you'll touch on it, the defibrillator scene, because they stole the montage scene from the originals and had to revamp it as building a defibrillator to rehabilitate Junkie.
Mia.
Yeah, thank you. That I found obnoxious. I found it to be
kind of insulting.
Yeah,
and ultimately very hokey.
Yeah, extremely. Yeah. Now, with that said, take it away because I know you have a lot of complaining to do.
The film that started off, and I thought it started off very strong, and it had a really, really great MacGuffin for keeping the characters in the cabin, which was the character who obviously has a drug problem, so they're going to stay at the cabin. No matter if things get a little weird, at first they're determined to stick it out. Of course, things go off the deep end real fast.
We got to figure out why,
Yeah, exactly.
They use the whole
why are they
addiction
doing this?
thing
Exactly.
to keep
exactly.
it,
But ultimately, I agree with you guys that I thought there were some great homages to the original film, but ultimately its biggest weakness is halfway through the film, the character who previously has no medical training whatsoever, puts together this like really quite elaborate device to resurrect.
There was a nurse there that could have done the same thing.
That was the part
behind it.
That was the part that bothered me the most. If they had literally just mentioned like half in like a half aside,
he hung out
early in the
long
film,
enough to learn how to build his own defibrillator.
or if they were both medical students.
You learned that in the first grade. That's
I had that class.
That's modern day public school 101 right now. Don't you know, like, man, the education system's getting fucking intense now, man. You learn that shit early.
Ultimately, the point is that point I think jumped the shark for the film, and after that, I had a hard time basically kind of like maintaining like any kind of like semblance of okay, I'm still on board with everything that's happening, and then the biggest problem I had with the final, what became the final protagonist of the piece, becomes this, you know, like sort of ambiguous, like obviously J-horror inspired female character that comes literally just out of the ring, out of the dirt. Yeah, exactly. For most American audiences, that's what they're gonna jump to. Oh, that's like the long-haired, creepy little girl from The Ring.
Yeah,
that happens. And for my money, that's not Evil Dead to me. Evil Dead has always been kind of like this ambiguous evil that, you know, kind of like is around and possessing people.
The Borg of darkness.
Exactly. And by focusing everything on this one character, it just completely ruined it for me. And then at that point, I didn't care.
I just never understood what this creature was going to do. Like,
no.
It's so easily defeated by a girl.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, was it going to, if it did kill her, was it going to roam the woods or fucking hike to the nearest
town? As I said before,
I
if we saw the film, it's any other raising Satan flick. You know, they're raising Satan. You raise Satan and suddenly you've unleashed evil on the universe. That was the implication. I mean, keep in mind, Evil Dead 2, they make the evil manifest in that creature that bursts through the door. They suck it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course.
They're shooting for that, but I do agree with you. Whereas the original, they never implied there's one individual that rules it all. In this one, there is. Mm-hmm. They imply there is. Yeah. It really is. It's just another Satan flick. It's, you know, it's Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
And that baby is the little girl that crawls out of the ground as opposed to something crawling out of a vagina. It's just an evil incarnate that represents the pinnacle of the darkness that will spread.
And it would have been different had they set that up at the beginning of the film. Sure. They did, the beginning of the film, you see the girl like
they may have thought they were
being burned alive or whatever. But they might have thought
they shot that little scene prior. And when you see the film, and I'm sure we're ruining the movie, boy, that scene prior in the intro, you see the. I would assume the first girl possessed, or obviously the girl possessed by the highest of evils.
Deadite you see.
Yeah, exactly.
And you assume that's just another Deadite. You don't assume that you assume it's part of the bigger picture rather than it being the picture. You know what I mean?
I think it's important just to point out that it's all because the Deadite, the Deadites, I'm sorry, from the original, the Deadite in this particular one, they have the same hive mentality. But this one was obviously trying to go in a different direction. I think we could all agree, if you would have given it a different title, it would have been a great movie. In the end, you had one leader to the Deadites, whereas in the original, you had the Deadites, which functioned in a Borg mind. They had no individual mentality.
So ultimately, what you had basically here
if you titled it something else, it would have been a much better movie.
And try not to tack on all the Evil Dead trappings. We wouldn't have felt so cheated, and we wouldn't have felt so having the.
But with all that said, given the gore. I enjoyed the movie. I still liked it. I still really enjoyed the movie. I think it was gory as hell. It fucking rained blood. That was spectacular. It rained blood. I was able to look beyond the defibrillator scene or the final boss scene. I was able to look beyond that. I enjoyed the movie. I liked it.
That's what it came down to. I pretty much. I was able to look past the things I didn't like, the defibrillator scene, the single protagonist, little girl ring thing.
The ring thing.
I want to call this the ring thing now.
Like I said, again, I love the gore, I love the homages, I love the fact that it fucking rained blood. Like that.
It rained blood.
The death scenes were so epic that it was just like, it was enough to keep me interested in the entire movie. The characters, you know, honestly not memorable, but because of the way they died, I'll remember them from characters forever.
Oh, I agree.
So the movie is totally...
The characters aren't relevant until you see them die.
It's totally a great flick. I would totally watch it again. I dig it.
Yeah. My ultimate conclusion overall is I go into every remake with open eyes and try to at least be somewhat like open to the idea of them bringing something new to the table. But where I think the remake kind of fails is the original Evil Dead at least had, in addition to the unintentional humor of the first one and the intentional humor of the second, was a good balance of some gore effects with some actual like scariness. There's some, even if they're the cheapest jump scares where the soundtrack explodes as somebody walks into the frame, things of that nature. Ultimately, what I felt was lacking in this remake is any kind of like actual scariness. You know, you have plenty of gore that, you know, sure, anybody in the theater is gonna like, you know, get vocal about because that's really disturbing and like, oh my god, that's awful. But ultimately, there's nothing frightening about this film. There's no suspense. So ultimately, I think with repeated viewings, once you've seen the gore and you know you're kind of like desensitized to its effects, I think you'll find the film very boring. And that coupled with the obviously jumping the shark moment that I've talked about already, coupled with the very, very lame J-horror inspired protagonist, which manifests itself at the final act of the film, I think this film doesn't warrant any more than just a rental by my standards.
The final thing I'm going to say about this film is the one thing that disappointed me was the post credits, the little snippet you see at the very end. Watch it, you know, because you have to. But
we could tell them to not watch it, and then they'd watch it anyway.
Yeah.
For us to tell them not to watch it.
That being said,
yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what the post-credit ending is.
But it is infuriating.
But it is infuriating.
It is
But
infuriating.
when you get the DVD, make sure you watch the DVD because they did hint at a possible alternate ending in which the girl is walking down the street, all bloody, and an S-Mark truck pulls up with Ash driving, and he asks the girl, no, you need assistance, you need help. As the girl looks at him, as a dead-eyed again, he just looks at the screen and says, groovy. Which would have been the best post-ending.
It would have been a far better cameo than the fucking cameo that he was
But
given.
Watch for our review of the DVD release coming later.
But again, that's not a guaranteed alternate ending. That's just something around the internet. But
rumor control.
If it was shot,
yeah,
which
it is
we don't
rumored.
know.
Which, if it is shot, it will be on the DVD, I'm sure. So I mean, that's pretty much all I gotta say about the
Final thoughts. I didn't think it was a bad movie. I enjoyed it. If you can walk into it assuming that it's just a movie that stands on its own 2 feet, it's kind of hard to do, but ignore the fact that it's Evil Dead.
Yeah.
With a film,
it's actually not a bad movie. I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Watch it as a
deny
horror
that I
fan,
was
not as
drunk
an
at the
Evil
time
Dead
I
fan.
watched it, but I did enjoy it. I can let everything else go. I can let all of the other problems I have with the movie go and say that I enjoyed the movie. I would most certainly give it a thumbs up.
Thumbs up for me.
Thumbs down for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An asshole.
Yeah, that's me. Hey, if we didn't disagree, who would watch this? There would be no drama.
That's true.
Thank you so much for clicking on the link and watching our first review here at Deadly Dallas, down in the deepest, darkest layer of Deadly Dallas headquarters here. Please check out our website, deadlydallas.com.
Like us on Facebook.
Like us on the Facebook.
And like me just in general, because I may see you at a bar. I'm
Cheers
just
from
saying.
all of us.
Cheers. Racist.
And then people are going to be giving Mexicans power, and then where the fuck do we go?
Well, this review just went downhill real fast.
And then you're going to tell me that the Jews own the media. What the shit? I hate myself and I want to die.
All right, so we're gonna start like this, like, you know.
We are Deadly Dallas.
Yeah, welcome to Deadly Dallas's first video or music movie review. I'm already drunk. I can't even talk.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Cut.